Welcome back to Dirty 20, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about incredible feats in 5th edition. Let's get on with the show. So today we're looking at one of my favorite aspects of 5th edition and the way it's implemented. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised by the fact that there's quite a few people who don't play with feats. Now, it is considered an optional rule, which is fair enough. If you look on page 165 of the Player's Handbook, you will find a little bit of information about feats and a list of all the different feats that there are. Today we're going to look at my top 5 feats, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about them first. At certain levels with your character, you would be able to choose an ability score improvement. Now, this is when, instead of an ability score improvement, you can choose a feat. Why would you choose a feat, I hear you asking? Well, I think that the great thing about them is that it gives you a real option. And what I mean by that is that there's so many different ways that you can go with feats. Don't get me wrong, sometimes choosing to bump up your dexterity or your intelligence, that might be the best choice. But feats can often give you a +1 and some additional benefits, or some of them have incredible synergy together. So definitely worth looking at. Now, today I'm going to give you my personal choices for my top 5 feats, but it is a very subjective thing. I recommend having a read of all of them because they have some really cool stuff in there. And you also find some in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, for example. And once again, really cool, really flavoursome, and really can get you to that point where you want to go with your character in terms of the concept that you have, or something like that, whether it's a double sword wielding assassin, or whether it's a sniper with a crossbow. All of these things can be achieved just a little bit better with feats. Let's take a look at my top 5. I'm going to get the first and obvious one kind of out of the way. This is a feat that some people do not actually allow, even though they allow feats, and that is Lucky. With the Lucky feat, you get 3 luck points. And this essentially means that when you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can roll a second dice, and before knowing whether the first dice that you rolled is a success or a failure, you can instead choose that second dice that you rolled. It's kind of like a reroll, but you can't know whether you were successful or not. Essentially, if you roll terrible, if you roll like a 3 or a 2 or something like that, and you know that you've failed, then you would bring out your luck point and roll again. Now, this is a little bit different to Halfling Luck, which I've talked about in the past. Halfling Luck is about avoiding those pesky nat 1s. This is about being able to avoid missing, really. The other cool thing is you can actually, if somebody rolls an attack against you, you can say to the DM, I'm going to use one of my luck points and roll, and then you can decide which one they have to use. So it's almost like imposing disadvantage on your enemy. Next up is Alert. Now, with this feat, you get +5 to your initiative, which is pretty massive. It means that you're almost certain to go first, or very close to first, in any encounter. You also cannot be surprised by an enemy. Now, that can be really massive, because being surprised can have a massive impact on how much damage your party takes. And if one of your guys can still potentially act ahead of the surprising creature, then, you know, that's very good. Also, creatures that are hidden do not gain advantage against you when they attack you from being hidden. That's a nice little extra, but nothing incredible. I've used this feat quite a bit with my thief that I rolled up. I like the idea that nothing surprises him, and just that he's quick off the mark. So alert is a great choice. Next up is durable. Now this is an interesting feat because like a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, you get a +1 to one of your ability scores, in this case, Constitution, and you get a little added benefit. So you can still potentially get that, you know, extra bonus modifier for your character, whilst also gaining something a little different and a little bit special. Durable in this case is about using your hit dice. So when you take a short rest, you're allowed to use as many hit dice as you have left. Now, the danger is that you roll and you get a 1, next one you roll a 1, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm using all my hit dice. Now, the good thing about durable is that the lowest you can roll when you are using your hit dice is twice your Constitution modifier. So let's say that you've got a Constitution modifier of +2. That means that the lowest you can roll is 4, and again, plus your Constitution modifier as always when you use your hit dice. So pretty handy, not super sexy like lucky or even alert, but still very, very useful. Now my last 2 options are a little bit of a cheat, because I've gone for 2 feats for 1, so to speak. But this is where feats can really get interesting. Once you start synergizing and being able to combine them to make amazing combos, I think that's when feats really kind of come into their own. First up, Sharpshooter and Crossbow Expert. Sharpshooter is a no-brainer for anyone who is using a bow and arrow or a crossbow or something. Essentially, you have no disadvantage when you use the maximum distance when you're firing, which is nice. I mean, it means that, you can fire from like across a football field, essentially, with certain weapons. But no disadvantage on that. Another thing that Sharpshooter gives you is you're able to ignore half cover. Again, very nice. If people are hiding and shooting arrows and stuff at you, you can kind of pop them off like a sniper. Really nice. The final thing, though, which is the best thing about it, I think, is you are allowed to, when you make a ranged attack, you can take a -5 penalty to hit, but get a +10 to the damage that you cause. Now, that may not sound great, but often when you really specialize into something, like, for example, being good with a bow and arrow, if you consider your attack bonus being potentially +7, +8, even higher as you go up the levels, taking a -5 is not the end of the world. Also, if you're fighting against creatures which aren't necessarily that hard to hit, then this is a good option, because +10 to damage to whatever you roll for damage is pretty massive. Definitely a great one to take. But in combination with Sharpshooter, I would say something like Crossbow Expert. So Crossbow Expert is particularly great because it allows you to ignore the reloading property of crossbows, which means that you cannot fire a crossbow again unless you use a bonus action to reload it. This is great. It frees up your bonus action. This is amazing. You also, though, get the ability to attack creatures which are within 5 feet of you without disadvantage. So again, you're a specialized kind of long distance guy. If someone catches you, you have to pull out your dagger or your short sword or whatever, and you're probably not going to be that great at using it. However, with this, you can still fire at them, which is very nice. Finally, you also get the ability to, once you've used a light one-handed weapon, you are able to shoot a hand crossbow with a bonus action. So it gives you that kind of cool swashbuckly kind of sword attack and then shoot as you go. element which I think a lot of people like the idea of in a character. And the other combo that I've gone for is Polearm Master and Sentinel. This for me is definitely like the combo of combos when it comes to feats. But essentially Polearm Master allows you to, as a bonus action, attack with the butt end of your reach weapon, and it must be a reach weapon, so a glaive, a halberd, something like that. But the really cool thing is that it allows you to use your reaction to make an attack of opportunity when a creature enters your reach. So essentially, you can hit someone when they're charging at you, which is really, really nice. This, in combination with Sentinel, can be a devastating combo. Sentinel allows you to hit a creature with an opportunity attack and bring their speed down to 0 for the rest of the turn. Now, again, think about this. Polearm Master, you can hit someone as they're rushing towards you. Sentinel means that they have to stop in their tracks. And because you're carrying a reach weapon, your reach is actually 10 feet. They don't have to be right next to you. So you've stopped someone dead in their tracks, and they're not going to be able to attack you. Oh, that's my kind of feat combo. But that's not it. There's also a little bit of gravy on here, and that is when somebody tries to disengage from you, you can make an opportunity attack. So again, keep them away from you as they're coming towards, or if you want to, you can keep them close to you. Really, really nice. There's also a little thing about being able to attack someone if they are within 5 feet of you and they try and attack someone else. So you're kind of defending them. Again, nice. But that movement to 0 within reach is just really, really cool. So a few honorable mentions, because like I say, there are some amazing feats and I really do recommend you go and check them all out. There's not one that I don't think couldn't be ideal for a specific character that you're working with. But certainly Warcaster is a really good one for spell users. It gives you advantage on your concentration checks when you have to make them, when you take damage. Amazing. Actor is great for the kind of face of your party. Gives you lots of nice little things. None of them really for combat, but certainly it helps to potentially avoid combat or get around things. So again, really, really interesting. For those who maybe take a martial class but maybe want some magic thrown in there, you have Magic Initiate as a really handy one. Definitely check that out. And Ritual Caster, both really, really useful feats. And last of the honorable mentions, I'd definitely say Great Weapon Master. We've talked about Sharpshooter. This is the version of that is for melee weapons. So, take a -5 penalty, +10 to damage. Very, very nice if you're a big hulking beast that hits with a sword or a club or what have you. Now, the last thing that I would say about feats, which is something that I think most people don't think about, is if you're a dungeon master, it's more than okay for your creatures to have some of these abilities, right? Give your guys Sentinel and Polearm Master. Give your city guards that, or your veterans or something like that. These are really fun and can throw your players off a little bit in the sense that they might not expect the bad guys to have some of these abilities. But, if you can do it, I can do it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought about this video. Do you use feats? If not, why not? I'm really interested to find out. And as always, keep slaying. If you've enjoyed this content, then please smash that like button, subscribe, share this around online, and come and visit our website, www.lavictoriaproductions.com, to see all our past episodes, as well as our blog posts and all the stuff that we're currently working on at La Victoria Productions. Why not reach out to us and tell us what you think of our videos? You can reach us on Twitter. At Mouth La Victoria is our producer. We are also on Instagram. I am Enano LVP, and our producer is Jazzy J Cherot.